This is Huntscross Avenue in Woolton, Liverpool, and I made a video about this avenue in August this year, and I said I would return and do a little bit more filming later in the year. So here I am, and this is one of those videos. So this video is going to be about Out Lane, and there will be a subsequent video about Whitney Road and Garway, which will follow soon. Now, the last time I was down this end of Woolton, it was around about 95 degrees. Is that 35 in Celsius? It was really hot the last time I came here. And now that the weather's changed and the trees are starting to turn, I thought I'd come out and do a little video down here. I wanted to do these videos in this area during autumn because I just think that the area looks much nicer with the colours in the trees and the leaves on the ground. So this is going to be the first video of two, and as I said just a minute ago, the next one will be about Whitney Road and Garway. Now we're coming to the end of Huntscross Avenue here, and this is where it joins with Out Lane. So we're just going to make a right turn here and walk down to the end of the road where Out Lane meets Halewood Road. This is where Out Lane begins, and as you can see, it's on the border of Woolton. That's the direction we've just walked in, and if we headed in this direction we would end up in Gattaca, and that would have been a route to my old secondary school, Gattaca Comprehensive. In the other direction, turning right, we would end up in Huntscross. It's been a really changeable day today. It's been nice blue skies, and then it's been overcast as well. And as you can no doubt tell, it's also rained. This is where Out Lane begins, and historians will tell you that this is one of the oldest lanes in Liverpool, and it's also one of the oldest lanes in the whole country. It's actually named in the Domesday Book. So what exactly then is the Domesday Book? Well, I guess we all remember the Battle of Hastings, which was fought on the 14th of October 1066 between the Norman French army of William, the Duke of Normandy, and an English army under the Anglo-Saxon king Harold. And of course Harold got killed by having an arrow shot into his eye, or so they say. So then our new king, who was known as William I, or perhaps better known as William the Conqueror, decided that he wanted to do an audit of most of England and parts of Wales, and he commissioned the Domesday Book in 1085. So by 1086 the Domesday Book was in existence, and basically it was a registry of how many people lived in England and certain parts of Wales, what property they owned, and what land they owned as well. I think the whole purpose of the Domesday Book was just a way that the new king knew what people owned, where they were, where they lived, and he could then tax them. It's really as simple as that. But for our purposes, what it does prove is that Out Lane existed in 1085 and 1086 and probably existed for a great deal of time before the Domesday Book was even thought of. Back in 1085, 1086, the time of writing the Domesday Book, and even prior to that, this would have been a lane in the middle of fields. It's described as being fields with small and medium-sized ponds. I know it's hard to imagine now, but there would have been no Hunts Cross Avenue, no King's Drive, no houses, just fields. So we've got to cross the road here and join the rest of Out Lane, which is just to the left of these two houses here. So back in those times, this lane would have been one continuous pathway. There would have been no crossing the road. But of course people did live here. People lived in Woolton. There were settlements there. I guess they were called tribes, but people lived in Woolton. People lived in Childwall and Hale, and I think to an extent there was a lot of rivalry at that time as well. We're going to take a look at Woolton Primary School, which is on the right hand side here. This is what these railings are all about. Just over the railings is their school field. Now I've purposely waited to make this video during the half-term break, so there's no children in the school and they're all on holiday at the moment. So just taking some video through the railings. This is one of the entrances here. So I'm just going to cross the road so we can see a little bit more of Out Lane, and it's not just school railings. So this is the other side of the road. The school is on our right, and just going to continue walking for a short while. So this school in Out Lane is called Woolton Primary School, and as it is now, it opened in 2011, but it was here prior to that. It was Woolton Infant School and Woolton Junior School, and they both amalgamated and became Woolton Primary School in 2011. The actual building itself dates back to 1957 when it was first opened, and as I said, it had a separate infant and junior department back then. Prior to this school opening, all the schools in Woolton were church schools. St Peter's Church of England, St Mary's Roman Catholic, and St Stephen's C of E in Little Woolton, Gattaca. So originally this was a county primary school. That was its title, exactly the same as Kingsthorne was, the school I went to in Hunts Cross. Here's another view. That's a book turned on its end there. That's quite novel. That's a view of the school from the railings, and I'm just going to walk up a little bit further and see if we can see the main gate. This portion of the pavement and the trees on this embankment take up quite a bit of the width of the road. The road is quite narrow here, so if you take your kids here and pick them up in the afternoons, I bet it's fun trying to find a parking space to pick your kids up. So this is the main gate. I'm not going to go too far in, don't want to trespass, but this is the main gate into Woolton Primary School. This is a view from across the road, and I'm just going to have a look back to show you where we've come from. Quite a nice little lane with the trees, but as I say, it's quite narrow here and no parking signs. Anyway, as I was saying before, there were people living in Woolton prior to the writing of the Domesday Book. There was people living in Gattaca and Childwall, Hale and Hale Bank and Hale Wood. Now, as I said before, this was an area which was just fields with the odd pond here and there, but this was the only lane. So if you wanted to leave Woolton, this would be your way out, and that's probably why it's called Out Lane. But also, obviously, it was the only way into Woolton. Now, one history book mentions that the entrance to Woolton Village would generally have been via Out Lane, and you would take a route past Woolton Cross. Now, this must be a lot later, because I think Woolton Cross dates to around 1350. So in the time of writing the Domesday Book, Woolton Cross wasn't there. This is a housing estate on the left here. I think it's called Monk's Way, and it accounts for the houses that we've seen, which peep across the sandstone walls that line the left hand side of Out Lane now. Okay, so yes, the cross in Woolton Village wasn't built until around about 1350, but what that history book does show is that even at that time, Out Lane was the way in and way out of Woolton. But back in history, there were two Wooltons. One was called Much Woolton, which is the area around School Lane and up to and including where Woolton Cross is. And then there was a Little Woolton as well, which is I think extends out towards this area. And historians argue about what they actually meant, the much and the little, whether one was bigger than the other, or whether one was higher than the other in terms of landscape. I think I tend to go with one being bigger than the other, but I wasn't here at the time, so what I think isn't probably accurate. Anyway, we are almost at the end of our journey. I thought this was quite a nice gate here, one gate in front of a door. It's been something in its past, hasn't it? Anyway, we're nearly at the end of our journey, because we're coming up to the top of Out Lane here, and it joins Woolton Street and the boundary with Acrefield Road. You can just see the two road signs there. So this is the end of Out Lane. We're now in Woolton Village in modern day, and this is the Elephant Pub. And just to prove it, there's a captive elephant. Now there's a few scooters lying around. I'm going to hire one of these and go across to the White Horse for a quick drink before I go home. Anyone know how you put petrol in these? Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and we'll catch up soon.